Hello, 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 sweet baby angels and pumpkin heads. And it's your girl, Miss Tetra Resin Stone. And today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm coming at you guys outside of my therapist office. Listen. I don't have the mug on. I am waiting to go in, and I have my little mask, and I just, pop it on here. So I don't need a face on right now. So that's the tea, sis. I wanted to talk about something that's really interesting to me that I've been wanting to talk about, and I've kind of ignored it for a very long time. I mentioned in my video, I'm glad he cheated. And I mentioned in other videos about, not wanting a partner, not wanting to be in a romantic relationship. And there's really more to that. I think that I haven't been as forthcoming because here's the thing. I'm at a place in my life that I'm very happy, loving and respecting myself, free from a sexual life. I have absolutely no desire. I have absolutely no desire. And I went and got my hair done. And when I was getting my hair done, listen, you go to the hair salon, you talk about who you're sleeping with, you're talking about this, you're talking about that. And the girls were asking me, and they were saying, well, who are you sleeping with? What's going on? And it was a conversation that I was like, actually, I'm not sleeping with anybody. And they were like, what? Well, you've got toys, right? And I was like, actually, I'm not even doing that. Like, I have no desire. And there's a couple reasons why. On one hand, I did gain some weight, and it's been very hard for me. For the first time in my life, I don't have abs. For the first time in my life, I'm very squishy. I'm very soft. I've got, this under here. I'm growing. I'm getting older, and so it's just like, I'm squishy. I have, patches of fat under my bra strap. And, it's a different body that I'm learning to love and learning to embrace and learning to accept. And, I understand that working out and having a better diet will definitely change those things. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to do these things. I am making excuses because, coronavirus and COVID, it's just been very hard. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like, the gym is gross to me no matter what. I do not like a gym. I think a gym is disgusting. Anytime I go to a gym, I think of staph infection. It's a gross thing to me. And I live in Texas. It's very hot here. So even going outside, like, I went riding bikes with one of my girlfriends, and it was a lot of fun, but it was just like, oh my God, I'm miserable. I'm hot. It's gross. And it's like, my legs are burning. My ass is burning. Like, everything's burning. And it was good. It was a good workout. It was really great. And so I'm going to probably start doing more outdoorsy things, but I kind of want to wait until we start getting closer to fall. I've always had a weird dynamic with food as well. And so being underweight for most of my young adult life, and finally getting to be at a weight that was more of a healthy, normal weight, was really shocking for me to see myself in a more of a normal, healthy weight. And I always had a weird struggle with food because that was the one thing that I could control. I could control what I ate or what I didn't eat. And growing up sexually abused, chronically sexually abused and sexually assaulted and stuff, my whole life has been my life has been sex. My life has revolved around sex. My life has been about pleasing somebody. That's been a big portion of my life. And so for the first time, I'm free from that. I don't feel, not having a partner, not having a relationship, there's no obligation to have a sex life. And let's be real, that is a big part of any relationship. If you're in an intimate relationship, sex is typically a part of that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't fulfill me anymore. It doesn't give me, like, I'm going through a lot to overcome my sexual abuse and my trauma and stuff, right? And so for the first time, I love and respect myself far more than I've ever loved and respected myself. And I know that I love and respect myself far more than any of my past partners have ever loved and respected me. And so to think about dating and to think about the aspect of sex, and usually when you're dating a guy or talking to a guy or talking to a girl, sex comes up, and that's a very important part, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I get it. I really do. I understand why they want to have intimacy. I understand why they want to talk about it. I understand why that's a part of the dating process, because you want to make sure you're compatible in a sex life as well. And so for me, I am just not at a point in my life where I really want to be defined by my sex anymore. I don't want to be defined by my sexuality. I don't want to be defined by that, and I'm not defined by that. I am so much more than that, and I absolutely love and adore the person that I am, the human being that I am. And it's like, there's, you know, when I was chronically abused, there was pieces of myself that split off from who I am. And, you know, there is a child who I adore and I love, and there's pieces of me, and they were always sexualized. They held a lot of the trauma for me that I didn't know was going on, or I did know, but I didn't know the extent of certain things. And through EMDR and through a lot of therapy, I have been able to find out and uncover certain things. And it's like, I want to give them finally a place where they cannot be sexualized, because as a child to be sexualized your entire childhood, and then as a teenager to be sexualized, and then as an adult to be sexually assaulted, it's very traumatic and it's very hard. And it sucks for me because it's like, I want them to have time now. I want to give them space now to not feel sexualized. Like, I want them to see themselves more than just sex and more than just sexual objects. And that is something that I've really had to struggle with. Now, I will say this, being present in a sexual situation was difficult. And I didn't realize a lot of times when I was having sexual intercourse, when I was having sexual interactions, I would disassociate, and other pieces of self would take over that, because I didn't want to have the sex, and I would check out, and another piece would come in and they would handle the sex. And finally getting to talk to them and getting to hear them and giving them their voice and listening to them, I finally realized that for me to heal and be a more inclusive and happy and whole person, I have to give them their right to exist outside of sex. And for so long, because they really handled even consensual sex, that's why as of right now, I'm more, I would say, of an asexual person, where I don't have any desire of even a romantic, though. I don't really want a romantic relationship. I don't want any type of intimacy beyond a friendship, beyond a just general, you know, companionship. And the pieces of myself that have fractured. And this happens a lot when you have chronic sexual abuse, or when you've gone through something very, very traumatic. Your brain will cope. And one of the ways that it can do that is it will fracture. Take a glass, and you drop that glass and you put all the glass back together. It's still a glass, but there's different pieces. And each piece has their own traumas, and each piece has their own memories and has their own entities. And they definitely have their own views on things. And I'm finally in tune with parts of self that I never knew were there, and I'm finally in tune with listening to, you know, what they need and what they want. And right now I want to give them permission and freedom to exist outside of a world of sex, because that's where they've always lived, and it's not fair. I have to honor that, and to really help with my therapy and to help with my overcoming my sexual abuse and my trauma, it's a part of listening to different parts of self. I hope this makes sense. This video is an interesting one. I wanted to talk about this, and then I didn't want to talk about it, and then I did want to talk about it, and then I didn't. And I think ultimately, I think it's a good thing to talk about, because it gives people who maybe have been through a similar situation that you're not a freak. You're not weird because you don't want to have sex. You're not weird because you don't want to you know, have an intimate relationship. And I think the biggest thing that sucks the most is I will get messages of people who I will tell I'm not interested in any type of romantic relationship, and they'll always say, well, just be patient or it'll come, or you'll find someone. And it's very dismissive. It's like, no, you're not listening to me. It's not a question if I could find someone, it's a question of if I want it or not. And I'm telling you that I don't want it. So don't project, because you can't live outside of having that sexual life. You may have a very normal, healthy sex life, but for people who may not have that, don't project that you have to have a sex life to be a normal person, or you have to be in a relationship to be a normal person. I am normal being the way that I am. I'm normal not having, you know, I don't have to have sex to define me as a normal person. I don't have to have relationships to define me as a person. Those are joys and pleasures that can add to a person's life, but they don't define a person's life. And that was something that I really wanted to kind of talk about and give people who may be feeling weird or may feel different because they don't have sexual desire, or they don't have a, you know, motivation to be in a relationship or motivation to have sex with someone. You're not weird. You're beautiful and unique in your own way. And as long as you love and respect yourself and you treat others with love and respect, then there's nothing wrong with that. And I hope this video was a little bit insightful as to really what kind of going on in my head and kind of where I'm at in my therapy. We haven't really talked about my mental health in a while. I am really happy just existing wholly and loving myself and respecting myself without sex. I'm really, really happy to live in a space where we aren't defined by sex, and that we're each able to have, you know, time to grow and develop and be heard, the parts of self in different expressions besides a sexual expression. I really was scared to talk about the different parts of self that I have, because I know that Trisha Paytas did a trolling video talking about DID. This was a huge topic a while ago, and it was something that I just was really intimidated about. And one of my good Judys was telling me that, you know, never let another content creator diminish what you want to say, or never let another content creator scare you from saying what you need to say if it's something that you want to talk about. And I had a video ready to go, and then you know, I think his name is Anthony Padilla. He put out a video on DID, and it was kind of like, oh, well, I'm not gonna put it out. I was like, well, let me wait a couple weeks and I'll put mine out. And then Trisha Paytas puts hers out. And so I really wanted to separate myself from Anthony Padilla and from the DID community, and like I wanted to give them their moment that have content solely around that particular topic, because it's not something that defines who I am. It is a piece of who I am because of the severe sexual abuse and trauma that I went through. Unfortunately, there are pieces of self that have fractured to handle the stress of what I was going through. And you know, I have really worked hard to understand and to, you know, integrate and become whole and become one again. And I've definitely worked on that. And so we are definitely getting there. And, you know, there's been times in my channel I look back and I'll say we, and I'm thinking, okay, hopefully you guys won't pick up on that, because I don't want to be seen as like, I share with you guys a lot, but it's like, I want to be seen for more than just something that I have. I want to be seen for more than just being this type of creator, this type of person, this type of this is, I am, you know, Tetra Resin Stone encompasses a lot of different things, and I want to be seen as such. I don't want to be seen as just a person who, oh, she's a survivor of sexual assault. Oh, she's a survivor of, you know, severe chronic sexual abuse. Oh, she's a, you know, content creator who talks about tea and gossip. There's pieces of herself that have been fractured, and as a coping mechanism, you know, I didn't really want to share this because I think a lot of times there are creators who make their whole content about one aspect of themselves. And I look at people like, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. If you are very passionate about that one piece of who you are, like I've seen channels that are, they're autistic, and they talk about being autistic and their life having autism and their life being autistic. And there's nothing wrong with that. But they're more than just autistic. There's more to someone than just being, you know, having dissociative identity disorder. There's more than just being gay. There's more than just being a lesbian. There's more than just being, you know, transgender. And I wanted to be able to exist outside of pieces of myself. They're all colors in my crown box. They're not just, it's not just one thing. And that was really big for me, that I wanted to, when the time was right, I would tell you guys. And I just wanted to kind of talk about it because, if I do talk about sex, if I do talk about things like that in the future, know that it's not something that I am really engaging in right now. And I like talking about different topics, and I have other pieces of self that want to talk about other topics. And so I try and encompass certain things. You may wonder why my channel does go from here to here to here to here. Well, there's different parts of self. One part of self is very into aviation. And, you know, I will allow that creativity and I will allow that voice to be heard. And so you will see a part of self wants to just do videos on aviation, and then there's other parts of self that want to do videos on mental health, and there's parts of self that want to do videos on all these other different things, the tea and the drama. And so that is why I just wanted to be honest with you guys. I wanted to let you see a little bit more and understand me a little bit more as our channel grows. I really want to just kind of keep you in the loop, and this was something that I really wanted to take the time and, you know, share that with you. I'm not ashamed of who I am. I'm not ashamed of how my life has come to be. And I've learned so much, and I'm very proud of the woman that I am today. And I'm very proud of the other pieces of self. I'm really proud of them. And it moves me because to see some they have been silenced for so long and used for sex. It's a lot to give them a place to exist beyond that. And I'm so proud to share what I'm doing with you, and share with them, kind of like, hey, Miss Resin Stone's over here doing this, and parts of self are watching, and they want to be included too. And so I definitely really wanted to do that. It's a very vulnerable topic to talk about. So I do hope you guys are kind. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Definitely be kind to me. And I will see you guys in my next video. Until next time, bye-bye.